If you're preparing for the IELTS exam or you just want to sound more fluent and natural in English, today's video is perfect for you. We're going to look at 10 basic English phrases and learn how to upgrade them with more advanced or natural alternatives, the kind of words that really impress examiners. To walk slowly. Now, instead of saying this simple expression, let's look at 3 better and more advanced ways to say it. Each one has a slightly different meaning, so let's go through them one by one. The first word is stroll. To stroll means to walk in a relaxed and unhurried way, usually because you're enjoying yourself. It's calm, peaceful, and positive. For example, I love to stroll along the beach in the evening. You're not in a rush, you're just walking slowly because it feels good. Perfect for describing relaxing moments in your IELTS speaking test. The second word is wander. To wander means to walk slowly without a specific direction or goal. Maybe you're exploring, or you just don't know exactly where you're going. For example, he wandered around the city, discovering small cafes and hidden streets. So wander has a feeling of freedom or curiosity. It's not planned, it's more like exploring. And our third word is saunter. This one's a bit stylish. To saunter means to walk slowly, but in a confident, relaxed way, like you don't have a care in the world. Example, she sauntered into the room as if she owned the place. It's not just walking slowly, it shows attitude or personality. You're moving slowly because you want to. Alright, let's move to the next one. To talk angrily. In everyday English, we might say something like she talked angrily to him. But in IELTS, we can use stronger, more expressive verbs that show how the anger sounds or feels. Let's look at 3 great alternatives. The first one is scold. To scold means to talk angrily to someone because they've done something wrong. It's often used by parents, teachers, or anyone in authority. For example, the teacher scolded the students for being late. So scold is about correcting someone's behavior. It's not just shouting, it's when someone tells you off for doing something wrong. The second word is yell. To yell means to shout loudly, usually because you're angry, excited, or trying to be heard. For example, she yelled at her brother after he broke her phone. Yell focuses on the volume. It's loud and emotional. You can yell when you're angry or even when you're just calling someone far away. And our third word is snap. To snap means to suddenly speak in an angry or annoyed way, often without shouting. For example, he snapped at his friend, saying, "Leave me alone." Snap is more about a quick, sharp reaction, like when you lose patience. It's not loud, but you can feel the anger in the tone. Alright, let's move to the next one. To say suddenly. Sometimes in English, someone speaks quickly or suddenly. Maybe they're surprised, angry, or just reacting fast. Instead of saying say suddenly, here are some stronger and more natural verbs you can use. The first one is exclaim. To exclaim means to say something suddenly and loudly, often because you're surprised, excited, or upset. For example, what a beautiful view. She exclaimed. Exclaim adds emotion. It shows that someone says something suddenly because they feel something strongly. Perfect for IELTS Writing Task 1 or Speaking Part 2 when telling a story or describing reactions. The second expression is blurt out. To blurt out means to say something suddenly, without thinking, often because you're nervous or emotional. For example, he blurted out the secret before realizing what he'd done. This one's great when you want to describe someone speaking impulsively, saying something they didn't plan to. And our third word is shout out or cry out. Both mean to say something loudly and suddenly, usually when you're scared, hurt, or shocked. For example, she cried out in fear when she saw the snake. Cry out focuses on emotion, pain, fear, or surprise, while shout out is simply raising your voice suddenly. Alright, let's move on to the next one. To be very happy. Now, this is one of the most common expressions in English. I'm very happy today. But in IELTS, you can make your speech sound much richer and more natural by using some better alternatives. The first word is delighted. To be delighted means to be extremely pleased or happy about something. For example, I was delighted to hear that I passed my IELTS test. This one's polite and positive, great for formal speaking or writing. You can use it instead of happy when you want to sound more professional or confident. The second one is overjoyed. To be overjoyed means to feel extremely happy, full of joy or excitement. For example, she was overjoyed when she finally reunited with her family. Overjoyed is stronger than delighted. It's used when something wonderful happens, like receiving good news or achieving something big. And the third one is elated. To be elated means to feel extremely happy, especially after success or something exciting. For example, he felt elated after getting the job he'd always dreamed of. Elated has a slightly formal tone, great for IELTS speaking or writing when you want to sound advanced and precise. Alright, let's keep going. Next one coming up. To be very sad. We all use this phrase a lot. I was very sad when I failed my test, or she was very sad about the news. But in IELTS, we can express sadness in a more emotional and advanced way. Let's look at 3 great alternatives. The first word is depressed. To be depressed means to feel very unhappy for a long time, sometimes with no energy or motivation. For example, he felt depressed after losing his job. Be careful, depressed is quite strong. It's not just temporary sadness, it describes a deep, ongoing feeling. Perfect for IELTS writing when describing emotional states seriously. The second word is miserable. To be miserable means to feel extremely unhappy or uncomfortable. For example, she was miserable after her best friend moved away. This one's very expressive and natural. You can use it in IELTS speaking to show emotion. It describes someone who feels truly unhappy or lonely. And the third one is heartbroken. To be heartbroken means to feel very sad, especially because of love or personal loss. For example, he was heartbroken when his relationship ended. This one's emotional. It shows deep pain or sadness. Perfect for storytelling or emotional topics in IELTS Speaking Part 2. Alright, let's move on to the next one. To be very angry. Now, this is one that we often use in daily life. I was very angry with him. But instead of repeating very angry all the time, let's explore some more powerful and expressive alternatives that can boost your IELTS speaking and writing. The first word is furious. To be furious means to be extremely angry, so angry that you're almost shaking. For example, she was furious when she found out he lied to her. This word is stronger than angry. It's perfect when you want to show intense emotion. But remember, it's quite powerful, so use it when the situation really deserves it. The second word is irritated. To be irritated means to be slightly angry or annoyed, especially by something that keeps bothering you. For example, I was irritated by the constant noise outside. Irritated is weaker than furious. It's for smaller things, like noise, delays, or when someone talks too much. It's perfect for IELTS speaking when you want to sound natural and precise. And the third one is enraged. To be enraged means to be extremely angry, even more than furious, to the point of losing control. For example, the crowd was enraged by the unfair decision. This one is very strong, formal, and dramatic. It's great for IELTS Writing Task too, if you're describing strong emotions or social reactions. Alright, let's move on to the next one. To think carefully. Now, we often say this when we want to describe being cautious or making a smart decision, like you should think carefully before you answer. But in IELTS, there are some more advanced and natural alternatives that express the same idea with more precision. Let's go through 3 of them. The first word is contemplate. To contemplate means to think deeply about something for a long time. For example, she sat by the window, contemplating her future. This word is calm and reflective. It's not quick thinking, it's slow and serious. Perfect for IELTS writing or speaking when you want to show deep thought or reflection. The second word is ponder. To ponder means to think carefully about something before making a decision. For example, he pondered the question before giving his answer. This one's great when you want to sound thoughtful. It's similar to contemplate, but often used for decisions, choices, or questions. And the third word is reflect. To reflect means to think carefully about something that has happened, to look back and analyze it. For example, after the exam, she reflected on her mistakes to improve next time. Reflect focuses on learning or self-awareness. It's excellent for IELTS speaking part 2 when describing past experiences. Alright, let's move on to the next phrase. To understand. Now, this is one of the most common verbs in English. We use it every day. I understand you. Do you understand me? But for IELTS, we can use some more advanced words that show different shades of understanding. Let's look at 3 great ones. The first word is comprehend. To comprehend means to understand something completely or fully. For example, some people find it hard to comprehend how technology changes so quickly. Comprehend is more formal than understand. You'll often see it in IELTS reading or writing. It's perfect for academic or serious contexts. The second word is grasp. To grasp means to understand something, especially when it's difficult or abstract. For example, it took me a while to grasp the meaning of that poem. This one's great when you're talking about ideas or concepts that are not easy to get. It shows effort that you really tried to understand. And the third one is figure out. To figure out means to understand something after thinking about it or finding the answer yourself. For example, she finally figured out how to use the new software. This one is more casual and perfect for IELTS speaking. It's about solving a problem or discovering how something works. Alright, let's move on to the next phrase. To start. Now, this is one of the most basic and common verbs in English. Let's start the class. He started his job last week. But in IELTS, we can use some more advanced and expressive alternatives that sound much more natural and precise. Let's look at 3 of them. The first one is commence. To commence means to begin something, especially in a formal or official way. For example, the meeting will commence at 10 a.m. This word is formal, perfect for IELTS Writing Task 2 or academic reports. It's often used in professional or official settings instead of start or begin. The second word is initiate. To initiate means to cause something to begin, usually a process, plan, or action. For example, the company initiated a new program to reduce waste. Initiate focuses on taking the first step, starting something new or important. It's often used in formal, academic, or business English. And the third expression is embark on. To embark on means to start something big, challenging, or exciting, like a journey, project, or new chapter in life. For example, she embarked on a career in teaching after finishing university. This one is a beautiful phrase for IELTS speaking part 2 when you're telling your life story or describing a personal experience. Alright, let's move on to the next one. To finish. We use it all the time. I finished my homework. They finished the project. But for IELTS, let's explore some more advanced alternatives that can make your speaking and writing sound more natural and sophisticated. Here are 3 great ones. The first word is complete. To complete means to finish doing or making something, especially something important or official. For example, she finally completed her university degree after 4 years. Complete is slightly more formal than finish. It's perfect for IELTS Writing Task 2 or Task 1 when you want to sound academic or precise. The second word is conclude. To conclude means to bring something to an end, especially a meeting, event, or discussion. For example, the conference concluded with an inspiring speech from the president. This one's formal and elegant. It's great for IELTS writing, especially when summarizing your ideas at the end of an essay. You can even say, to conclude, I strongly believe that ... And the third one is accomplish. To accomplish means to finish something successfully, especially something that required effort. For example, he felt proud to have accomplished all his goals for the year. Accomplish focuses not just on finishing, but on achieving something meaningful. It's a powerful verb to show success and progress, great for IELTS Speaking Part 2 when you describe achievements. And that's it for today. Everyone, remember, the goal isn't just to memorize big words, but to understand their meaning, their tone, and when to use them naturally. That's how you sound confident and fluent in the IELTS exam. So here's a quick challenge for you. Try to make your own sentences using today's new words and drop them in the comments below. I'll check a few and give feedback in the next video.